Okay. So, dear participant, good afternoon. And today, the second half session, we are going to start with Dr. Ved Prakash Singh. Dr. Ved Prakash Singh is currently head of Department of Industrial Chemistry, and associate professor also in the same department. So today, Dr. Ved Prakash is going to talk about the challenges and opportunity in the waste management. See, all we are the human, and our day to day, our work and life, a lot of waste are there. We are creating a lot of the waste after extracting the useful things. So how we are going to manage it, because it is going to be a very big challenge for all of us. So today he is going to talk about this. So on the behalf of the HRDC Mizoram University, I welcome you, Dr. Ved Prakash Singh ji, for this sixth faculty induction program. And with this, I am handing over the session for your presentation.
Thank you, sir, for your nice introduction. So now I will start my talk. That is not my research area, but I will try to give information as much as possible in this short period of time. So now I am going to share. Please let me know if it is okay. It's okay, sir?
No, not PPT mode. Presentation mode, it is not there. No.
But I have done again. I am going to stop and then again I will do. It is okay, sir?
Still in PPT mode, not in presentation. Down button, I think you have to click that percentage.
No, I am clicking that one, but maybe that is not working.
Okay.
So
So maybe some technical problem. You may continue with this. Okay.
wait, sir. I can open here only then. Here I think it will work.
Yeah, it is now fine, sir. Oh, you are showing PDF version or what?
Then in my system it is okay, but I think
No, here still it is in PPT only. Sidebar is there.
okay.
Anyway, you may continue with this. Increase that, zoom it. Center portion you can zoom and start.
Yeah, it is moving.
Yes, moving. Now second, yes, waste is there. Nice.
Okay. Then I think I can go this because due to some network issue again, when I am going to zoom presentation mode, then it is not good.
Not going. Okay.
Okay. So I can zoom little bit, then it will be fine. Okay. So I'm going to discuss, not going to present something like that, on challenges and opportunities in waste management. I choose this topic because this is very common for all, relevant to all of us. Many of us are from different backgrounds. So maybe some people are from science, some people are from humanities. That's why I thought it's better to discuss uh, a topic which is relevant to all, and it should be discussed, because now we are anyhow we are able to manage this, but we should think about future also. After 10 years, 20 years, what will be the situation of waste? How much waste we can manage in future, and what we are going to hand over to our coming generation? Our earth is clean or not for them? We got better than them, so we should, that this is our responsibility to hand over the earth better than we received from our ancestors. So that's why we should think about it. And just I want to remind you all about it. All of us are knowing about this, only sometimes it needs to remind to each and everyone. Even maybe I'm also doing sometimes mistake, but try to remind and try to improve our my habit. So if today's talk will improve someone, then it will be very much beneficial for all of us. So we can see here in this picture, what is waste. Waste, a lot of things are there, not a single item which is clear here. It means after mixing all, it looks like a, means huge, just like crowd in city, just like in same way here waste materials crowd is here. And that looks like hill or any big if you will go in any city, then we can see this is like a mountain. And size of these mountains, it depends on the size of the city. Means size of the city means what is the population of the city. If you will go if you are going Delhi, Kolkata, Mumbai, like that city, so you can see outside of the city some places people are dumping their waste, and now that becomes a becomes a mountain. And last month I visited Kolkata, so I saw there was a mountain. Then I asked, what is this? How mountain is possible nearby Kolkata? That is plain area. Then they said, no, this is not mountain, this is a just they are dumping all waste here, and they are burning the things without knowing what they should burn, what they should not burn. Means there are a lot of problems which we are going to face in future due to our dumping mechanism and all. So there is question, what is waste? What are wastes? So there are many definitions for waste. Usually what is waste? Which we are not going to use, we are just throwing from our side, that is waste. Maybe rubbish, trash, refuse, garbage, junk, litter, and odd. So means overall we can say unwanted or useless materials which we are not going to use in future, we are just throwing. So that is waste. In biological term, if we will say what is waste, then waste is not an unwanted material by the family or all. That is, waste is any kind of unwanted substance or toxins that are expelled from the living organism. Maybe metabolic waste such as urea and sweet and all. So but what is the conventional definition of waste? Substances or objects which are disposed, are intended to be disposed of, are required to be disposed of by the provisions of the law. Here one term is used, provision of the law, which we are not doing as per provision in our waste management system. Most of the places, what way we are disposing, that is what we are thinking, just we are disposing somewhere, we saw that dustbin is there, just dispose. What is in that packet, is it mixture of all or what is that? We are, most of us, we don't bother about that. So here one term is used as per provision of the law. What law says that how to dispose different items, that is also one of the factor we should know about it. And disposal means any operation which may lead to resource recovery, recycling, reclamation, direct reuse, or alternative uses. So here we are using term waste. But sometimes many people are using that as refuse. For us, maybe that is waste, but for others, maybe that is a raw material. So in place of telling waste, if you can say refuse, that is most appropriate word for solid waste, as most waste can be utilized as raw materials for other purposes, recycling purposes. Nowadays, if we will go in market, sometimes we are going to buy some plastic materials and all, tables, chairs, like that. So there is one option that this is a recycled material. So we can see that is recycled from recycled material, means that is waste materials are used, which we are telling as a waste material that is used as a raw material, means we refuse that item, and then the people are, industry people are just taking as a raw material, and they utilize that raw material to make a new table, chair, like that. So that is a refuse material for us also, and for them that is raw material. What is solid waste about this? I have a simple data. We can see here India produces 277.1 million tons of solid waste every year, which is likely to touch 387.8 million tons in 2030, and it will be 543.3 million tons up to 2050 due to rapid urbanization, population growth, economic development. All these are taking part in the due to which solid waste amount is increasing day by day. So India's total waste production is the highest, and Bermuda and US topped in the list when it comes per person generation of waste every year. If you will see the size, means volume of the waste, so we can imagine that every year we are producing a waste in such an amount that will take place same area as the area of the Aizawl city. So we can imagine after 50 years how much area we are going to use for the dumping of solid waste. So our area is also limited. We are, that area will be reduced day by day. One part we are going to consume for disposal of the solid waste, dumping of the solid waste. So we are going to reduce that area also. That is also one of the concern, how to manage this solid waste. And Bermuda generated about per person, we can see Bermuda is generating 4.5 kg of waste per person each day, whereas US is producing 2.24 kg per person. At 0.575 kg per person, India was below the global average of 0.74 kg per person. By 2050, however, India's figure is projected to increase by 900 gram every day. But our population is too much. That's why overall waste amount is more than others. But per person wastage is still, we are below par, means global average value is 0.74, our average value is 0.57. So we can say we are producing less waste than those countries. So on a daily basis, the country produces more than 1.5 lakh metric ton of solid waste. So per day, this much amount of waste we are producing. So in 1 year, we are producing that much, as I have given in previous slide, 277 million ton solid waste. So of the total collected waste, if we will see how much we are going to use it, so only 20% is processed, and the remaining 80% is dumped in landfill sites. So if we are producing around 300 million, 400 million, so if 400 we are producing, then only 80 million we are going to reuse, 320 we are going to dump in landfill sites. And another point is that urban area alone generate 170,000 tons of waste per day, means mostly that solid waste is generated by the urban areas. So there is also a significant disparity in the waste generated per person per day between small town and cities. While people in a small town could stack up about 0.17 kg per person per day, whereas city counterpart generate about 0.62 kg per person day. So huge difference is there between the person who is staying in town or city or a small village. So the rate of production of solid waste, there is huge difference. Why this difference is there? We can imagine if means we are staying in city, we are using all facilities, and but we are producing maximum waste, more waste than them also. And if cities continues to dump the waste at present rate without treatment, it will need around 1240 hectares of land per year. And with projected generation of 387.8 million tons of waste by 2030, the requirement of setting up the landfill for 20 years of 10 meters height will require 76,000 hectares of land. So we can imagine how much land is required to dump the solid waste. Our population growth is very fast. Our land is also limited. That is not going to increase with time. Maybe it is decreasing with time little bit due to seashore and all other factors. But we have to give this much land every year for this purpose. So this way also our land resource is going to be decreased with time. This is another problem which is going to be happen in future. So how much we are using that one? So we can see in brief that it is generating 439 million watt of power from 32,890 TPD of combustible waste, including refuse derived fuel, and 1.3 million cubic meter of biogas per day, or 72 million watt of electricity from biogas is generated, and 5.4 million metric tons of compost annually to support agriculture from solid waste. Since the beginning, now we will see from beginning what is solid waste, how it started. Humankind has generating waste from beginning, since beginning of their life. So earlier days, what was the waste? It was in the form of bones, wood, like that, which is coming from animals and from slaughters. So with the progress of civilization, the waste variety also changes. It becomes complex and complex in nature. Day by day, we are producing some complex material and complex waste also. So at the end of 19th century, there was rise in the world of consumers. Industrial revolution, we can say that era is called industrial revolution era, we can say. So in that time, the waste complexity becomes very high, and day by day it is complexity increases. So the increase in population and urbanization was also largely responsible for the increase in waste. Obviously, if more people will be there and more urbanization is there, and we can see as per the data that in urban areas people are producing more waste. So if more people will be in urban area, it means we are going to produce more waste. So what is the meaning of that? We should move towards rural areas. This is a solution or not? Or we should move towards urban area. This is a solution or not? What we should do? If we will move urban areas, waste per person is going to be increased, and we are going to be a part of that. We are producing more waste. So what is the solution? Everyone should think about it. And we can see in this picture what is the origin of waste. Few part I have shown here. There are many sources, but few of them I have taken here. For example, mining, that is a big source of waste. Agricultural, forestry, industry, household, commercial and government bodies, construction, demolition, wastewater treatment. All these are source of waste. And if we want to classify waste, so we can classify this in different types. Here mostly we discussed about solid waste, but there are variety of waste. And if we want to classify based on matter, then we can classify it as a solid, liquid, and air emissions are gas, we can say. And if we want to classify as per degrading feature, then it will be biodegradable and non-biodegradable. And on the basis of environmental impact, hazardous and non-hazardous. And on the basis of source, household, industrial, radioactive, electronic, medical, nuclear, and many more. What are solid waste here? It includes all solid, semi-solid materials which are discarded from the human or animal activities. Means anthropogenic activities are responsible for all these materials. Examples we can see here: food, metals, glass, plastic and rubber, e-waste, paper. What are the sources? Domestic sources: garbage, rubbish generated from household activities; industrial activities, construction, demolition, discarded tools, mining waste; agriculture. Industrial purpose, I want to say many places, if you are here in Mizoram and Aizawl, we can see some places if construction is going on, big companies are coming, they are doing construction. While going, small instruments, they are not taking back with them, because return that is costly to return it, then their price. So they are just leaving it behind that place, and that becomes, after a few years people will go, and then it becomes a waste. So this is also there. Agriculture residues, poultry and dairy waste, packages, fertilizers, soil conditioners. So all these are also source of solid waste. Commercial: rubbish, ashes, hazardous and toxic waste generated from commercial activities, offices, hospitals, and public places. So these are different sources. And harmful effects: safety and health hazards to human and animals, air pollution due to open burning of garbage, contamination of land affecting crops. We can see in our surrounding, peoples are just using they are just burning the papers, polythenes and all. Those polythenes, if they are burning, we can imagine they are producing a lot of chemicals in the form of gas, though they are carcinogenic in nature. And means we are just increasing the carcinogenic gases around us. So it is very harmful. Liquid waste, non-solid waste, this can also be part of solid waste converted into liquid for disposal. Examples are runoff for washing toilets, rain, irrigation, leachate from landfills, chemicals and oil disposed from industries and manufacturers. Sources can be pointed, maybe non-pointed sources. Municipalities are there, they are just sinks, tubes, toilets in houses, offices, hospitals, public places, leachates from landfills, industrial wastewater from industries containing acids, chemicals, petroleum products, and all. If anybody is staying nearby any industry, then they have experience about that. When they are just releasing their water from the industry, so sometimes there is a lot of smell, many chemicals, many things are there that is harmful for the small microorganisms, that affect to the big microorganism, that affects to the animals, that affects to the human beings of that area also. Agriculture: runoff from fertilizers, pesticides, ranches, irrigation and rain. What are harmful effects? Just like that previous solid waste effect, this is also this is also very harmful to many of us. Breeding of organisms like mosquitoes, flies, causing diseases, that is due to this liquid waste. Unpleasant odor, as I told. Contamination of soil, water affecting crops and animals in rivers and oceans. Gaseous waste. Gaseous wastes, if we are going to discuss, then all of us, if you will remember, many cities are nowadays facing a lot of gaseous problem, environment problem. That is due to the gaseous waste. If you will remember, in Delhi, every year there is a lot of problem due to gas. Sometimes there are many problems, many reasons. What are the sources? I'm not going to tell about that, but there is gaseous waste amount is too much. And if I'm not wrong, then most of the big cities, it is difficult to see blue sky. Most of the places, skies are means we can say black. So what is the reason behind that? It means weather is not clear, environment is not clean. Dirty, it means a lot of mists and small particles are there in the environment. That's why we are unable to see sky properly. Sky color becomes black. We are lucky here that we can see at least blue sky. And if this gaseous waste is going to be increased in future, so maybe in future our coming generation may not see blue sky. They will read only that there was blue sky. So if we are not going to control all these things, then this may happen. So emission from different processes like burning of garbage, greenhouse effects, industries, transports. So the gaseous waste include carbon dioxide, methane, chlorofluorocarbons, oxides of nitrogen, carbon monoxides, oxides of sulfur, and all. What are the sources? Unregulated greenhouse gases from landfill, incineration of garbage, crops, residues, emission from industries and manufacturing units, huge number of vehicles. Most of us, we are using four wheelers. If we are using, we are going alone, single. So if you will see in city, most of the people, they are not using public vehicle, they are using personal vehicle, and that is also one of the reason. So number of vehicles are more. So if it is very good vehicle, even though it is producing a small amount of gaseous waste, that's why in urban areas pollution is more. Harmful effects: air pollution due to open burning of garbage, global warming, irreversible respiratory diseases. Respiratory diseases are nowadays very common in most of the places. And this in this corona period, we are all of us are knowing about the respiratory diseases. That is very hot topic in most of the literature and most of the research areas. People are trying to do some work based on that. So that is related to respiratory disease and all. Now another variety is biodegradable materials. All of us are knowing about biodegradable and non-degradable materials. So waste material which can be broken down into harmless substances in nature in due course by the action of microorganisms, such as certain bacteria, are called biodegradable waste. For example, cattle, dung, wool, paper, compost, and all. So means by nature it can be degraded into harmless substance, then it is biodegradable. But some substances we can are there which cannot be degraded. For example, plastic bags, hardwares, bottles. So waste material which cannot be broken down into harmless substances by the action of microorganisms in nature are called non-biodegradable waste. Plastic, for example, polythene, bags, metal articles, glass objects. There is sometimes doubt that really this is biodegradable material or not. So I want to give a brief idea about that. For example, how much time it is taking, then it should be used as a biodegradable material or not. For example, cotton rags. So time period required to biodegrade is 1 to 5 months. Papers 2 to 5 months. Rope 3 to 14 months. Orange peels 6 months. Wool socks 1 to 5 years. Cigarette butts 1 to 12 years. Plastic coated paper milk cartons, it needs 5 years to degrade. Leather shoes 25 to 40 years. Nylon fabric 30 to 40 years. Plastic six-pack holder rings 450 years. Glass bottles 1 million year. Plastic bottle forever, means cannot be degraded. So we can, sometimes there is nylon fabric, leather, sometimes we are thinking it can be degraded. Sometimes glass bottle is, it seems that it is a natural thing. Glass is not plastic. Only what we consider that plastic only, that is not degradable. But many things here we can see that is non-degradable kind of material. So the biodegradation of fabric samples, for example, cotton, jute, linen, flax, wool, polyesters, how much it is suitable to use as a biodegradable material. So if you will see the pattern of degradation of fibers when they are not in direct contact with soil, then we see that jute and linen are more biodegraded than other cellulose containing fibers like cotton. Cotton damages much quicker than jute in soil. But when we put both the fabrics in form of fibers in bags, at that time what is happening, the weight loss percentage of jute is higher than cotton, which means that jute has a higher degradation rate than cotton. And in the case of linen, the cellulosic portion of the flax polyester blend is attacked by the microorganism, but the other synthetic part remains the same, and it cannot be compared with the cellulosic fiber. Means if that is made up of two units, two means one part is degradable and another part is non-degradable, then how we can say this is biodegradable, that is partially degradable we can say. And wool is a quite resistant to the attack of microorganisms because of the molecular structure and the surface of wool. Wool is also, we can say, a kind of non-degradable material. It is degradable, but it needs a lot of time, more time. And polyester is synthetic fiber and microorganism cannot degrade. So usually what we are thinking, our cloths and all, they are degradable. But if we will see polyesters, polyester is made up of synthetic chemicals. So that's why that is synthetic fiber. So if that is synthetic fiber, it cannot be degraded by microorganisms. So polyester is also not a degradable material. Now we can see waste based on environmental impact. Environmental impact means hazardous waste and non-hazardous waste. So hazardous waste, in that one we can see radioactive waste, industrial waste, electronic waste, medical waste, and all. And non-hazardous waste, municipal waste, other non-hazardous industrial waste. In this one, organic waste, packaging waste, other materials like glass, plastic, metals, etc. Now, challenges in dealing with the solid waste. How we will deal with, what are the challenges there? In waste management, waste reduction, integrated waste management system. So challenges in waste management, how to sort waste, how to collect waste, we can say. So we can see here Different, we have experience also around us that different types of container, blue, green, sometimes polythene, sometimes open without color also containers are there. So how we are dumping, and how we should dump. So we can see here blue containers are there. So plastic package, cane, foil trays, glass jars and bottles, cartoons and cups, all these things are there. So this can be simply dumped in this blue one. And another one is paper and plastic bags. It should be done in separate bag. And green bin organics means which can be used as a fertilizer also, that can be collected in green box. And other things garbage is there, diaper, hygienic and other feminine hygienic product, straws, snack bags and wrappers, styrofoam, broken dishware, plastic items and fumes filter, hangers and all. So these things should be collected separately. How we should handle this? Another point is that when we are going to dispose our straws, crisp sweet wrappers, chocolate wrappers, broken glass, plastics, coffee cups, plastic items, beer cups and all. So how we are disposing? We just dispose it and it will go in landfill ditches. And other things are there, different types of food items are there, bottles and all. So when we are disposing it, our responsibility is that it should be empty. No food items should be there inside that bottle or wrappers when we are going to dump it. Otherwise, that can create another problem. Microorganism will be developed due to those small amount of food materials. So these should be clean. That is our responsibility. We should handle like that. Coffee cup, if we are using, it should be completely finished. And these things should be clearly dumped separately. And aluminum foil plate, empty bottles, milk carton, these things should be dumped separately. And it should be properly clean and dry. Sometimes we are cleaning but it is wet. It is wet means again we are just folding that paper or that wrapper, then that will create another problem. Again, microorganism source will be the development of microorganism in our society. And in segregation also, most of the places there are two boxes, green and blue only. Some places there is hazardous domestic waste, third is also there. Some places there are four boxes. So there is confusion about it that how we should dump it. Green one is very much clear that kitchen waste, vegetable, fruit, leaf over food, egg cells, tea bags, rotten vegetables, garden waste, fallen leaves, puja flower, garland, twigs, everything we can dump there. What about plastic waste, paper, metal, unbroken glass, rubber, sanitary waste, diapers, sanitary napkins? Most of the places, this non-biodegradable material and hazardous domestic waste both are dumped in same box, means blue boxes. We should be careful about that. Non-biodegradable waste and hazardous domestic waste should be dumped separately. But most of the places we are dumping together. Only we are little bit aware about biodegradable waste. And most of the society, not only we are responsible, in most of the societies also we can see only two boxes are there in most of the places, in most of the societies. So but we should try to create the system so we can provide three or four boxes, then it will be better, it can be separated. And that will we can reduce the development of microorganism due to the waste materials. Here we can see here 4 boxes: biodegradable waste, general waste, hazardous waste, and recyclable waste. We should develop system like this. Biodegradable waste can be easily utilized as a fertilizer also. General waste will be dumped, or can be, if useful, then it can be go for other purpose. Hazardous waste also, but it should be handled with care. This is the difference, general waste and hazardous waste, because those people who are collecting these things, they are also human beings. So if we will segregate, then that will be easy for them to handle. They are doing for us. So our responsibility is also to give them in a proper way, so that will be easy for them. And recyclable waste, why we should separate it? These will be used for recycling process. So we can reduce our waste by following this method. Waste management, we can see in this chart how we are doing. So raw materials are there, a lot of raw materials are there that can be used for manufacturing process. Then product will come, and in this process solid and hazardous waste generated during the manufacturing process also, that will come here. Different types of solid wastes are there: hazardous waste, non-hazardous waste. So different types of waste that is collected here, and that can go in, this is waste which is going to landfill or incinerator, and hazardous waste will go for hazardous waste management. And waste generated by household and business, that is also separated into hazardous and non-hazardous waste, and can be separated as uh, biodegradable material or as a compost. And this is the material which is can be reutilized, means refuse material, you can say, that is used for recycling process. So these material can be collected for as a raw material for the industry purpose, again this will be used. And compost part, this will be used as a fertilizer. So this is a simple chart diagram of the management system of the waste. What should be our priority? Primary pollution and waste prevention. How to reduce the waste? What we can do here? So change industrial process to eliminate use of harmful chemicals. Our industrial process earlier, if we are aware about this, day by day industrial process are changing. We are trying to improve our industrial process every day by day, and trying to produce less harmful chemicals. So that should be continued. Many industries, old industries, people are using old machines and all, they are producing more harmful gases. So they should be replaced time by time, and they should be replaced by advanced instruments. And they should use less of harmful products. If we will use less of harmful product, then that way also we can reduce waste. And reduce packaging and materials in products. If we will reduce packaging and materials in products, no need to package. For example, we are going in a restaurant and all, sometimes we are packaging the food. So in place of packaging, if you will eat there, then that much amount of waste we are going to reduce, we are not going to produce. So that habit should be developed. Make product that last longer and are recyclable, reusable, or easy to repair. And that is our also target should be there, that we should develop a material which is durable, more durable than other things. And it can be recyclable material, it means, and it can be reusable or easy to repair also. Second point is that what we should do: reuse, repair, recycle, compost, buy reusable and recyclable products. So reuse habit is not more, not very less in India. But if most of you have visited foreign countries also, there you can observe, and most of you have already observed that there is a there is a culture to reuse the materials. In most of the developed countries, they are just sharing their things. See, there are some materials that is not useful for them, they are not dumping, they are not keeping in their house for a long time. After few years it will be not suitable to use. What they are doing, they are just sharing in their society. If anyone have to use, they can take it and they can use it. So that habit should be developed here also. This way we can reduce the waste and repair. Sometimes we are not going to repair the things. In place of that, if item is very cheap, in place of repair, we will just take new one. So our habit should be repair. If you will repair, then we are we are helping to reduce the waste material. Recyclable material should be used more, then that will be recycled, then that is also, that way also waste is reduced. Compost, buy reusable and recyclable products. If it is equal cost or little bit higher also, then we should prefer to buy that. Treat waste to reduce toxicity, incinerate waste, bury waste in landfills, release waste into environment for dispersal or dilution. So these things should be in our practice. Producing less waste, what we can do for this? So follow the 3 Rs as we have discussed in previous slide: reduce, reuse, and recycle. Ask yourself whether you really need a particular item when you are going to buy anything. If it is not so much useful and in your family someone have that item, so in place of keeping everyone one item, it's better to share that. And refuse packaging where possible. Sometimes we are wants packed item, we are going in market, we are taking vegetables and also each vegetable in different polythenes. So number of polythenes we are increasing. In place of that, if we will carry bag and all, so that way also we can reduce the material. Rent, borrow, or barter goods and services when you can. Buy second hand and donate or sell unused items. As I told, we should develop our habit for this purpose, to reuse and to hand over the unused items to others who can use that one. Buy things that are reusable, recyclable, and compostable items, and be sure to reuse, recycle, and compost them. Not only buying is sufficient. After using, that should be disposed in that way. If we will dispose all recyclable material in non-recyclable boxes, then that is again problem. So avoid disposal and do not use throw away paper and plastic plates, cups, and eating utensil and other disposal items when reusable or refillable version are available. So we can use any item which is reusable in place of use and throw, once use and throw items. Use email or text messaging in place of conventional paper mail. Nowadays, government is also promoting this. They are always promoting paperless office. They are trying to develop, and even in money related also, everything they are trying to do with online transfer or this mobile banking. Everything that is very helpful to reduce the waste. Read newspaper and magazine online. Here, there is some controversy. Reading newspaper and magazine online, some people will say online is not suitable to read. Sometimes we should read. So we should use to read with paper things, that should be normal paper, not plastic coated paper. Then that is recyclable material. We should be we should do use that kind of material, and our industry people should also produce that kind of material. Means we should have some options like that, so that will be easy for us to select and to maintain the system. and reducing resource use, waste and pollution. Redesign process and products to use less material. Redesign process and products to generate less waste. Make products easy to repair, reuse, remanufacture, compost, or recycle. Eliminate or reduce unnecessary packaging. And use free per bag waste collection system. And establish cradle to grave laws. Waste management by burying solid waste. How we can manage this waste by burying solid waste? First is open dumps, sanitary landfills, and leaches. What is open dump? We are all of us are knowing many mountains are near each city. That is due to simple open dumping. That creates a lot of problem. A lot of in rainy season, you can understand how many microorganisms will be developed here due to these mountains. Not only these mountains is around this area, when there will be heavy rain or rainfall will be there, these water will move around most of the plain area nearby that mountain. So all those areas will be affected by those microorganisms. That is also possible, and that may be the cause of many diseases. Sanitary landfills, this should be properly done with proper guideline how to do. We can see in this picture how they should be done. It should be properly done. There should be different layers for coming gas properly, how it can be used to produce electricity also, means different it should be done properly with all the possibilities, which is going to reduce the uh, contamination of groundwater also. All of us are knowing, if groundwater will be contaminated, then again there will be another problem. So when we are going to do this kind of landfills, so we should be careful about that. That's why we can see here it is properly protected. Here groundwater is properly protected, that should not be contaminated with this the solid waste. And any place which is dumped like this, that can be utilized for electricity generator also, that should be nearby, that it can be produced. Methane storage is also possible with this kind of system, and that can be used as a energy source. So these are also useful points of this process. Sanitary landfills, how we are doing, what are the advantage and disadvantage? So advantage is that this is not open burning, little order is there, low groundwater pollution if sited properly, can be built quickly, low opening cost is there, can handle large amount of waste, field land can be used for other purposes. Disadvantage is noise and traffic, dust due to transport, air pollution from toxic gases and trucks, release greenhouse gases, slow decomposition of waste, output approach that encourages waste production, eventually leaks and come contaminate groundwater if it is not done with proper guideline. Advantage and disadvantage of burning or burying solid waste. Technology for burning and burying solid waste are well developed, but burning contributes a lot of air pollution and due to greenhouse gas emission. And buried waste can eventually contribute to air and water pollution and land degradation. Due to those buried materials, land degradation is there, water pollution is there. So these things are again going to create social problems due to this process. How should we deal with hazardous waste? Produces less hazardous waste. First point is that change industrial process to reduce or eliminate hazardous waste production. Recycle and reuse hazardous waste. Convert to less hazardous or non-hazardous substances, natural decomposition, incineration, thermal treatment, chemical, physical, and biological treatment, dilution in air or water, put in perpetual storage, landfill, underground injection well, surface impoundments, underground salt formation. So these things should be properly done. And many industries, for example, if we will see simple brick industries, So what people are doing? People are government has given instruction that height of that chimney should be very high, so those gases cannot contaminate uh, surroundings area. So these things are already in our system, but sometime, and they should also use some kind of uh, chemical plates there that can absorb carbon nanoparticles which is generated in that system. So advancement of science is also helpful to reduce this how to manage this solid waste. So detoxifying hazardous waste, how to do, that is one point. Bioremediation, a lot of work is going on bioremediation, and phytoremediation, incineration, plasma arc torch. These are the processes which are used to detoxify the hazardous waste material. So storing hazardous waste, deep well disposal below certain rocky material, rocky place, and we can just dump well, and properly it should be covered. And surface impoundment means 70% in US have no liners, 90% of many threaten groundwater. So that is another problem we are creating after storing hazardous waste material without proper guideline. More sustainable to low waste society, how we can move this? Shifting to a low waste society requires individuals and organizations to reduce resources use and to reuse and recycle waste at local, national, and global level. So this is our target, how we can reduce it. How can we make the transition to a more sustainable to low waste society? Shifting to low waste society requires individual and organization to reduce resources use and to reuse and recycle waste. Achieving a low waste society, grassroots action is required. Environmental justice should be there. International treaties are there, and that should be followed. Basel Convention, persistent organic pollutants, so dirty doses, all these things should be properly monitored, and it should be properly followed. Principle for achieving a low waste society, everything is connected, so there is no away for waste. Polluters and producers must pay for waste. Different categories of waste should not be mixed. Reuse, recycle, and compost solid waste should be properly utilized. Three big ideas we can see here from here. The order of priorities for dealing with solid waste should be to reuse, reduce, recycle as much of it as possible, and to safely dispose of what is left. The order of priorities for dealing with hazardous waste materials should be properly with proper guideline, and if we can detoxify those materials, then we should also follow that process. And if that is not possible to detoxify, then it should be safely stored at proper place. And we need to view solid waste as wasted resources and hazardous waste as materials that we should not be producing in the first place. That should be our target. Challenges and opportunities, science. What is science people are doing for this? Then one of the scientists, William Rasde, has he studied modern refuse and trash, and he uses trash cans, compactors, and various types of trash can liners in his study. And how to solve this problem? So that is a garbologist, like archaeologist, trash persists for decades. So these things are coming under this. And another point in the science is that scientists want to develop bioplastic. Plastic is a part of our life now. So if someone will say don't use plastic, then it is very difficult to completely stop plastic from our society. So if we can replace it with now this plastic to bioplastic. So if bioplastic will be in our society, that will be degradable material, and then it will be suitable for our society. So most plastics are organic polymers produced from petrochemicals. So bioplastic are made from plant materials and it is biodegradable and can be composed also. So, and about reuse already we have discussed a lot. Opportunity in waste management. What are the opportunity here? Five major types of material can be recycled. So recycling industry can be developed for paper products, glass, aluminum, steel, and plastic, some plastics. And recycling, primary closed loop recycling is there, secondary recycling is there, pre-consumer waste, internal waste is there, post-consumer waste is there, feasibility and marketing. So these types of recycling processes are there. Mixed versus separate household recycling, material recovery facilities should be developed, and it can be expensive, but we should bear with this. We can bear this if it is possible, then we should bear it. Source separation by households and businesses, glass, paper, metal, plastic, compositable material. So that is our responsibility to separate the things before we are going to dump or dispose. Composting, decomposing bacteria, household composting, organic waste collection facilities, successful large scale composting, odor control, exclude toxic materials. So these things are also utilized, can be utilized. Recycling plastics, 5% plastics are only recyclable. MBA polymer, commercial recycling processes, Mike Biddle and Trip Allen co-founders, they have developed this one. Pellets cheaper than virgin plastics, more environmentally friendly materials. Recycling advantage is there, but some disadvantage is there. Advantage, so we are knowing, reduce air and water pollution, saves energy, reduces mineral demand, reduces greenhouse gas emission, reduce solid waste, helps protect biodiversity, can save landfill space, important part of economy. But what are the disadvantages? Can cost more than burying in areas with ample landfill space? Maybe. May lose money for items such as glass and some plastics. Reduces profits for landfill and incinerator owners. Source separation is inconvenient for some people. Encouraging reuse and recycling. This is a part which our different social responsible society responses, different bodies, organizations are there. They, that is also a kind of opportunity of those organization to teach, to encourage people, to teach people from rural areas to urban area, everyone, how to reuse and recycle the materials. So that is also one of the part of different organizations. Market price may be little costly for reusable material, recyclable material. Even it can stabilize price for recyclable material. Government can give some incentive for those things. Fee per bag waste collection should be there. Better informed public should be there. And here we can see waste to energy incineration process, where waste is utilized as a source to convert into energy. So that energy can be produced and different industry can be developed to produce energy. So these things can be utilized also. So we can see here in brief how that can be utilized. Here raw material is coming, here it is coming in furnace, then it is boiler steam is coming here, generator is producing electricity, and from boiler wet scrubber is there, where dirty water that is there, it is coming out here collected, and it is again waste material, it is going towards the landfill. And here it is fly ash is also nowadays can be used. Fly ash is nowadays used to form brick also, so that can be again utilized. In incineration process, what is the advantage and disadvantage of this? It reduces stress volume, less need for landfill, low water pollution, concentrate hazardous substances into ash for burial process, sale of energy, reduce cost, modern control, reduce air pollution, some facilities recovered and sell metals. What is disadvantage again? Expensive to build, cost more than short distance hauling to landfills, difficult to site because of citizen opposition. Some air pollution and CO2 emission is also possible. Older or poorly managed facilities can release large amount of air pollution. Output approach that encourage waste production can compete with recycling for burnable materials such as newspaper and all. We have also solid waste management rules in India. After earlier it was also there, but again it was modified in 2016, and these rules are the sixth category of waste management rules, which brought out by the Ministry of Environment and Forest and Climate Change. The ministry had already notified that plastic, e-waste, biomedical hazardous, and construction and demolition waste management rules should be followed by different industries. And these rules are applicable beyond municipal areas and will extend to urban agglomerations. Waste processing facilities will have to be set up by all local bodies having 1 million or more population within 2 years. For census town below 1 million population or local bodies having 0.5 million or more population, or census town under 0.5 million population, stand-alone sanitary landfills will have to be completed in 3 years. But we can see around us only few areas they are following this. And there is monitoring committee also for solid waste management. Center Monitoring Committee for Solid Waste Management. It is constituted by the chairmanship of Secretary, Ministry of Environment, Forest, Climate Change to monitor the overall implementation of the rules. The committee composition is that Ministry of Urban Development, Ministry of Rural Development, Ministry of Chemical and Fertilizer, Ministry of Agriculture, Central Pollution Control Board, 3 state pollution control board, pollution control committees, urban development departments of 3 state government, rural development department from 2 state government, 3 urban local bodies, 2 census towns, Federation of Indian Chambers of Commerce and Industry, Confederation of Indian Industry, and 2 subject experts. The committee will meet once a year to monitor the implementation of these rules. Some silent features of these rules: for hotels and restaurants, for residents welfare association and gated communities, for street vendors, for cement and thermal power plants, for manufacturer and developers. For example, for hotel and restaurants. For hotel and restaurants, they have responsibility. They have to dispose their waste in with segregation, and they should dump properly, and they have to give charges for the amount of that waste material. They cannot dump just like other residents in just going and dumping that. And resident and welfare association, they have responsibility to maintain the solid waste management for that particular association. That is the responsibility of that welfare association of that particular society. And street vendor have responsibility. They cannot keep anything behind them to that particular place where they are utilizing as a business center for them, a small business center for them. When they are leaving that place, it should be cleaned properly, everything should be disposed properly. They cannot leave the things for others. And for cement or thermal power plant, they have responsibility to maintain their industry in such a way that nearby environment should not be polluted. I mean, for example, cement industry, it should be properly covered Cement should not come outside as a small particle, so it can pollute environment. And thermal power plant also, when I'm lecture, please, I'm lecture, please. So sorry for that. So for cement and thermal power plants, for manufacturers and developers. So if anybody, for example, if we are we have experience to visit some industries, for example, sugar industry is there. So what they are just releasing the water, or paint industry is there, they are releasing the water that should be properly processed. They cannot release the water without processing it. That is their responsibility, and they should develop their own system to clean, to release the water after treatment process. Urban sewage in India. While 87% of the country's urban population has access to household or community sanitation, the collection, treatment, and disposal of wastewater is a cause for concern. Only one third of the household are covered by sewer network, with 47% of household relying on on-site sanitation system. The low coverage is also compounded by the grossly insufficient treatment capacities in urban center. According to the Central Pollution Control Board, inventorization of sewage treatment plant reported 816 municipal sewage treatment plants listed across India. 522 is working only. Of the 62,000 plant, the listed capacity is 23,277 million liter per day, but no more than 18,883 of sewage is actually treated. Meaning 70% of the sewage generated in urban India is not treated. Only 30% of the part is treated properly. While 79 STPs do not work, 145 are under construction and 70 are new projects proposed for construction. Of the 522 working across India, maximum are in the northern state of Punjab, which has 86, but no more than 38 works. So these are some points which should be improved in our society. Government is trying to improve, but it will take some time. And in India, different treatment technology like ASP, UASP, oxidation pond, and advanced technology like SBR, MBR are adopted for the treatment sewage operation and management. Maintenance of existing treatment capacity is below par. We should change it. We have to improve their capacity, because our population growth is very fast. So our treatment plants should be also changed with time as per population growth. So as estimated, 75% to 80% of water pollution is from domestic sewage discharged untreated into local water bodies, for example rivers and all, and those rivers are further utilized for different purposes. So indirectly we are just uh, creating other problems. Waterborne diseases are there due to these things. So the government plan to construct 2.5 million individual household toilets in urban areas by 2015-16, of which 882,905 were constructed, means 8,82,905 were constructed up to December 15. After that, improvement is very fast again. The integrated Ganga conservation program Namami Ganga has been approved by the cabinet with the outlay of rupees 200 billion for the next 5 years. But what is on ground? We have to see that one also. So far, many projects have been approved for creating a treatment capacity program like Swachh Bharat Mission, Smart City, Atal Mission for rejuvenation and urban transformation aim to further expand this treatment to sewerage network and treatment capacity. And all old cities, they have some sewage system, sewage network, That is very old. That time that the city have capacity, for example, the city population was around 10 lakhs, 15 lakhs. Now those city population is 1 crore, 10 times more, but sewage network is old one. So that should be updated as per the population growth. Financial resources of urban local bodies, the government has increased the provision for that one also. Government is also adding the extending the facility for 5 years, 10-year plan there. And hybrid annuity based public private partnership also model is there. Public private partnership, that is also source of business for the private organizations. So they are also participating in this waste treatment process. And it by this process it is decentralized, so it is easy to manage. Also recycling reuse has gained more acceptance. Energy generation process is also there in this from sewage is receiving greater focus, and advanced membrane based technology are being deployed. Application of the technology is one of the very important part of this waste management system. So how we can apply technologies? Different technologies are nowadays used to treat the waste materials, to convert them into energy, to convert into recyclable material, to convert as a recyclable material for reuse. So this kind of process is already there. So here in water also, in case of water also, range from pond based system to activated sludge process, and its variants to advanced or tertiary treatment technology such as membrane bioreactor, reverse osmosis system, carbon adsorption system. These are developed for the treatment process. Secondary treatment technology is also developed. Okay, generally used for this can be used for the smaller capacities. For example, if 20 million per day or less, while a larger capacity treatment plants should be preferred by ASP, means activated cells process, and where and its variants and equivalent systems such as upflow, anaerobic sludge blanket, fluidized aerated bed system, moving bioreactor, and other sequential bed reactor, they can be utilized for the treatment. For very large plant of capacity greater than 50 million liter per day, the preference is to use either SBR or ASP with methane power generation facility. So that can be utilized to convert into energy also. Companies are also employing zero liquid discharge system and advanced technology to purify and recycle virtually all of the wastewater produced. So zero liquid discharge, it means they are treating that effluent properly, so there is no waste in their discharge liquid. Another area of increasing focus is real-time monitoring and automation. This is expected to play an important role in the year to come, considering that even more stringent regulation are likely to be put in place by the end of this decade. So these areas are there, people can participate, and people can start their small business also with the help of government. Government is giving many incentives, many options, many they are trying to develop a partnership between government and private organization to participate in these kind of problems. So we can say this is a good opportunity also for a startup. Many people can start their things with the help of government organization. So cutting edge trends includes increased water recycling and reuse program to reduce water consumption and discharge needs, implementation of solid waste reduction and waste to energy projects, use of advanced treatment technology, and focus on reducing the energy cost associated with wastewater treatment. In some cases, manufacturers are combining to create common effluent treatment plants to improve wastewater treatment economics. So common effluent treatment plants cost less to build and operate on a per cubic meter treated basis than a collection of individual sites. So these are some processes by which it can be improved, and we can develop this one as a opportunity also. So business model for private sector is developed in this area also. Design build operate model. In this model, it meets the capital cost for the projects and uses the private sector to bring in technology and manage skills to operate and maintain the assets. In most contracts, it is awarded to the selected operator, and construction of the sewage assets linked to the milestone and separated fee is paid for operation and maintenance of the assets. Early contracts have some different criteria. After 5 years, that will be little changed. Again, after 10 years, that criteria of contract will be again changed. Means that is for certain time. After that, it can be modified. These kinds of model are already there. And the construction technology and operating risk all should be modified or should be updated with time, while the financing risk is borne by the government counterpart is there, so it can be easily handled also. Build, operate and transfer model is there. So those models are primarily concessions where the private sector design, constructs, financial capitals. BOT third party option annuity is there. In these cases, third party operator is hired from the CGA to provide wastewater collection, treatment, discharge. BOT third party user charges are there. That is, in this case, third party is there who is hiring public, and they can do collection, treatment, and they can take charges from the consumers. And triple PP is their private sector participation, gives a lot of opportunity for public, as well as it becomes very easy for the government to manage also. So this is going to be developed as an industrial platform where people can utilize this one as a point of business. I think I don't have too much time, but still I have some time. So the end user is responsible for financial all the capital and operating expenditure required for the convenience, infrastructure, additional treatment facilities. In certain cases, the end users undertake to operate the municipal things for the ULB, water utility, and its own cost as well. So sewage sector is one of the good opportunity for the public also. There are a lot of options which for which government don't have sufficient uh, options, so government is trying to involve private sectors, and those private sectors can be from a small level to big level also. For a small town, a small level, so people can start their business with the as a startup with the small towns, and it can be useful for government as well as public also. So ongoing waste to energy projects are there in of March is 2020 is 24 waste to energy projects are utilized, that is converting waste into 233 million watt energy, and 5 projects are 79 million watt have already been tendered, adding up to total of 312 million watt. So we can say day by day our improvement is there. We are utilizing waste to convert into energy also. As per estimated by the Urban Development Ministry, about rupees 65,000 crore of public and private investment will flow into city waste management, cleanliness and waste to energy projects over the next 3 years. So, SERC in October 2015 fixed a tariff of rupees 7.9 per kilowatt hour of electricity sold by waste to energy plants, compared to about 2.5 applicable for many thermal power plants. So, this is a process by which they are trying to improve the things. And our target is to produce 10 gigawatt of electricity generation capacity out of 175 gigawatt renewable energy that India wants to have by 2022 is to come from biopower. So new waste to energy capacity is coming up in place like Nalgonda district and Hyderabad in Telangana, Bhawana and Kidwai Nagar in Delhi, Jabalpur and Indore in Madhya Pradesh, Pune and Kolhapur in Maharashtra, Palavaram in Chennai, Allahabad and Agra in Uttar Pradesh, and Bhatinda and Jalandhar in Punjab. Hyderabad, Pune, Indore, Rajkot have floated tenders for new projects, which are completed early in 2020, and other places are under process. Waste management role in higher education institution. What is the role of university and other higher education institutions? Our role is the primary role. We are education systems, education bodies, education institutions, higher educations are lower education system, everyone, they are the pillar of this all society. They are going, their effect will be reflected from our social status. People who are everyone is going to pass from these organizations either in childhood or young age. Who, at least if education is going to increase, then people will always be aware with all these things. If our education system will try to improve their curriculum related to these things. That's why last year UGC has also given one target to each and every institute that we have to run waste management courses in all departments. At least students should know about this waste management system, how to run, how to live, how to survive in this environment, and what is our responsibility. An academic institution can motivate a young generation to take waste management as an opportunity in their career. Not only it is a problem. If there is some problem, it is there is solution also. We can utilize this one as a opportunity also to develop some industry related to this to solve this problem. Diverse of good practice in higher education institution, implementing sustainability in higher education system by adding environmental subjects in undergraduate and graduate courses, inviting funding arrangement for sustainability projects, enhancing exchange knowledge between the university managers and university community, encourage the university community to audit waste management practices, hiring professionals to work specifically with waste management, establishing a green office as a model office to the university, engaging the community in waste management activities based on sustainability principle, reporting green initiatives and its achieved goals, disseminating guidelines for proper waste discard, carrying out management and final disposal of hazardous waste from research laboratories. That is very less in India. Reuse in social programs, proper disposal and recycling of electric equipment, treating the university as a living lab using its own capabilities to solve environmental issues, creating database on waste management to monitor key performances indicator in higher education institution, allocating different types of bins strategically to enhance recycling waste segregation, awareness the campus community about waste management, focusing on recovery, recycling, and reuse through campaign pushing them for a transition to circular economy. Thank you. I'm audible to all of you, I think.
Yeah, audible, sir.
It is 3 o'clock, that's why I finished.
So, Vedji,
Yes.
thank you so much for your lecture. No questions is there in the box. Okay. So, thank you so much for your very informative and lecture about the waste management. So, with this, thank you. Now, the
Thank
next
you, sir.
person already joined. So,
Thank
office
you.
will contact you. Okay. For
Okay,
the
sir.
necessary things. You stop sharing so that. Yeah. So thank you, Vedji.
Thank you, sir.